Hello everyone, again. Yeah, I always seem to say this, but yeah, I've been gone for a while. Well, bit of an interesting story. I bought a model. I was going to do an unboxing, possibly a build of a fairey albacore. I bought it off eBay, went in a bid for a good price as the old Pegasus one, and it ended up having two left halves, which I didn't realise. Got a full refund and got to keep it. Everything's there apart from I got two left halves. So I can't build it. I don't really want to do an unboxing since, well, the kit's kind of incomplete. I can't really give you a full review. It probably wouldn't be too big of a difference, but today I've got another rare kit. You remember when I got that contrail fairy spearfish? Well, if you haven't learned already, but I'm a big fan of fairy. So I ended up getting the fairy hendon. This was a more expensive kit. I won in a bid. It got very competitive. And I've been trying to get one of these. Been looking out for about a year and a half. Ever since the Rex's Hangar History video came out on it. And I've been really interested. If you want its history, I'll give you a bit of a brief one. It first flew in 1931. And was the first monoplane large bomber to enter RAF service. It only had two engines and it only had an armament of 3. It only entered with one full squadron, and apart from that, few were equipped with a few, but most were ended up being replaced with Vickers Wellingtons. These bombers were great for when they were designed, but then they were sort of semi-cancelled. Then they were brought back to life, and then they were cancelled again. They try and make a 4-engine version, which would have been called the Super Hendon. It would have had multiple turrets. So this kit is probably a bit worse than Spearfish. Most of the detail is very, as you can see, quite faint. Well, quite thick. A bit wacky looking. I need to get some stuff for this. I bought some resin Lewis Mark III machine guns for this one. It doesn't actually supply any. So I don't know if this exact version came with decals, because mine does not, and the seller listed that, but I think it might have, because this big bit of plastic, I think that usually means it has decals. The Fairy Spearfish had something similar. And there's also this is Contrail / another company which I can't remember the name of, but the Contrail boxed version includes metal parts, and this one doesn't. So you have this, but this isn't the actual turret. You've actually got clear parts for that. We'll go over later. You also have these 3 windows which you can replace. And there's a 4th one down here. Probably barely sits window though. You have these which go in the middle of these wings, which are supposed to be in like 6 halves, but I'm not sure if you need to. The good thing is for this turret, they've given you a little circle to indicate where it needs to be cut out, but the cockpit isn't labelled, or is the tail gunner. Yeah, as you can see, the lines are a bit ropey, and you even get the little tail wheel. Most of this is probably going to need replacing. Here are these struts. These go on the tail. They have like a split fin on the elevators, which are quite an interesting design. Makes me think of some things like the Lancaster and Manchester. Actually, no, the Manchester didn't have it early on, but these engines probably have the worst ribbing details, but they're not too bad. I think these go on pretty well, but we'll have to see about that. Yeah, exhaust face up, and they're moulded on. They don't look the best. And we also have this radiator, I think, which I've seen someone replace it before. You also have the wheels, which are here, and plastic thickness. Quickly, I'll give you bending test. It's quite tough. That's always the good thing about Contrail compared to other companies. They make sure their plastic is really thick, So, whilst some areas like here seem to be a bit weaker, this area really, I can feel it really is bending a lot. It's quite squishy, but most parts are quite structurally sound. We also got these nose cones. We also got these parts. We got two of them, so I'm guessing they go on the engine or something like that, but don't know. Then many bits you probably have to scrap build. So that's with sheet 1. I call it a sprue, but it's not really a sprue. But here is the wing. This is massive. Let me get my dirty metal ruler, which are the numbers invisible. Oh, I've got a big bit of paint on it. So it's even longer than my metal ruler, as you can see. I think some of it looks like it might need to be cut out, and that's where you put some of the parts that go in the middle of the wing. I'll probably do a build video, but I really want to document all these vacform models as they don't have much info. This is sort of like in the middle, as we'll look at the instructions later, but as the seller noted, it's kind of flaky. It's very, very weak. So I'm probably going to structure it with some thinner plastic card like this, and sort of put a layer of it underneath, glue it all back on, fill it, some things like that. The ripping detail on the wings is subtle, and is actually quite nice. You have this whole thing which holds the wing together, which is also quite thick, so it should hold it. You also have these bulkheads, but their edge is sort of unclear. The edge sort of smooths into the plastic, which I don't like. It makes it less clear. Then we have this bulkhead, which I'm not sure where it'll go. We'll have to look at the instructions. I had a brief look at this. I haven't had a full look. Yeah, this small bag. I thought maybe we do have a small sheet of decals. Oh, I've accidentally ripped it. This is very thin, papery material. But here we are. We have this big clear bit of plastic. Used to replace the windows, and that is almost as thick as the main parts. I would say these are going to be pretty good for the windows, which is what they're designed for. And whilst we're here, I'm going to sort of cover the proper clear parts. Now this plastic is quite bendy, but the turret and the canopy feel very thick. So it feels like they're probably going to be quite strong. So we have this little bulb sort of shape. Now they have a little edge. Wait, let me try. But I believe you're supposed to cut that out. Now, from what I've seen, the images of the turret very similar to the egg-shaped turrets that the Martin B10 uses. I currently have a B10 that's unfinished. I might possibly, if this turret gets too bad, I might steal that one. And I got the Foreign Service one, so I will make it in the Argentinian colour scheme with the full glass front, which I sort of wanted to do already, and got the canopy as well, which I believe is sort of off the side, as this aircraft had something quite interesting. It had a massive walkway. It had this big walkway between every crew position, and that meant the pilot was sort of off to the side. In some models, I'm not sure if this one is. The propellers, yeah, I'm not using these. I have some spare Lancaster ones, but they've got the smooth edges from the old Airfix one. And I need to use 2 for the Catalina, and then I'll probably need to use 2 on this. And there's 4, so it should be good. Now, another big wing, and these tail slits. These are the ones that point up, whilst the other ones on the first sprue. They are the ones that go across there, the elevators. These are the rudders. Let's move this big thing. So let's see how much of this. Okay, so it's folded. Careful. It's the Mark II, the original Mark 1. It's also. Let's see how tall I can make this tripod. Okay. Let me stand up for this just so I make sure I get a good angle. You can see there's the information in the middle. And it seems like there is a bulkhead near the rear gunner. You can see where all the main pieces go. Now you will need to get some chairs and other things, the crew positions, but I've now got some spare from the albacore, which I'm unable to build. So it tells us about the wing structure, and then it tells us about the decals, but of course I don't have any. I might get a circle cutter and cut them out. You have this big position in the middle where there's a lot of glass. There's a lot of glass work I'm probably going to have to do, but no worries, I can probably get it all done. And then you have this. So anyways, it's a pretty cool kit. I'm excited to build it, and I should be building it soon on my channel. Sorry if this video feels a bit rushed. I'm just not enjoying making videos, but I really need to document these kits because they're super rare. So I should be back soon enough. So I'll see you possibly in a build video, or maybe in a few weeks. So see you then.